Now coming to the nucleophilic substitution reactions of alkyl halides, taking methyl chloride, that is CH3Cl, as example. Remember that CH3Cl, it's a primary alkyl halide and it undergoes nucleophilic substitution reaction by SN2 mechanism. Now the first reaction is the reaction between methyl chloride and NaOH, where OH negative is the nucleophile. Now put Na and Cl in a box. So the valency created by breakage of this CH3Cl bond and the valency of OH will combine to produce CH3OH, that is methyl alcohol, methanol. Now the sodium alkoxide, now this is sodium ethoxide because this is C2H5 ethyl group. Now just like we say sodium hydroxide, we say sodium ethoxide, that is sodium ethoxide, and their sodium ethoxide can provide a nucleophile, that is ethoxide ion or C2H5 negative ion, that is ethoxide ion. It's a nucleophile and the reaction is obtained by putting a box between Cl and Na. So NaCl is removed from the site. So methyl group with its valency unites with the OC2H5 with its valency, producing CH3 or CH2, CH3 or C2H5, and this is named as ethyl methyl ether. So this compound belongs to the family of ethers. So we can prepare an ether by the reaction between an alkyl halide and a sodium alkoxide, and here we are taking sodium ethoxide or sodium ethoxide. Now the third reaction is seen it earlier, Finkelstein reaction, that is reaction between CH3Cl and NaI, sodium iodide, in dry acetone, and there dry acetone is a less polar solvent. Its dielectric constant is low, nearly 20, and the dielectric constant is the capacity of a medium, a solvent medium, to hold the ions separately without being attracted. Here acetone, since its dielectric constant is slow, it cannot hold the ions separately, so that the ions will combine to produce the salt as a precipitate, and here in this medium sodium chloride is precipitated, and the methyl with its valency combines with the iodine with its valency, producing methyl iodide. Now action of ammonia. Ammonia can produce a variety of compounds when the alkyl halide is in excess. So first of all, ammonia reacts with the methyl chloride, a nucleophilic reaction where the nitrogen atom with its lone pair donates their pair of electrons to the carbon of the methyl group, and simultaneous removal of Cl as Cl negative, and Cl is the leaving group here, ammonia is the nucleophile, and we get NH3 positive because lone pair is given to this carbon, one electron is lost by nitrogen, so it gets a positive charge, and Cl negative. Then this NH3 positive group will remove H as H positive, so that this bonding pair of electron goes to nitrogen, and the nitrogen is already having a positive charge. When nitrogen gets the share of electron of hydrogen, it neutralizes its positive charge, giving this compound, and this compound is known as methylamine, and we can simply represent the reaction as CH3Cl plus HNH2. Then the HCl part is taken in a box, it is removed, so CH3 with its valency will combine with NH2 producing CH3NH2, that is methylamine. So a simple equation. Now CH3NH2, where nitrogen possessing a lone pair, can act as a nucleophile, and if the alkyl halide is in excess, in sufficient amounts, in excess amounts, then one more HCl molecule may be removed from the CH3NH2 part and the CH3Cl part. So the bond between NH and H in NH2 breaks, producing a valency over hydrogen, and the CH3Cl bond breaks, producing a valency over chlorine. H and Cl combine to produce HCl, and the valency over nitrogen here combines with the valency over methyl group here, producing CH3NHCH3. It is called a dimethylamine. Still it contains a lone pair on nitrogen, so if there is excess CH3Cl, then a further nucleophilic reaction can occur, and there the NH bond breaks into H with a valency, and Cl with its valency will unite with H, producing HCl. So minus HCl we can say. The nitrogen with its valency, free valency, will combine with the methyl with its valency, producing an NCH3 bond, and there are 3 methyl groups, hence it is called a trimethylamine. Trimethylamine can further react with the methyl chloride if it is in excess, giving tetramethyl ammonium chloride. There the lone pair of nitrogen is donated to methyl group, so that nitrogen donates one of its electron to the carbon of methyl, and an NH-NC bond is formed with the nitrogen carrying a positive charge and Cl negative or Cl negative, and this compound is tetramethyl ammonium chloride, and this is similar to ammonium chloride NH4Cl. This is a salt, and in ammonium chloride, if you replace all the hydrogen atoms by methyl, 4 methyl groups, then we get tetramethyl ammonium chloride. It's a salt like ammonium chloride, and this reaction is not an Essen reaction. Now action of KCN. See, KCN is a salt with K positive and Cn negative as its ions. So it is a salt like KCl or NaCl, but initially we can represent KCN as K bond C triple bond N with the nitrogen carrying a lone pair. Now this ionizes, in the sense the bond between K and C, the electron pair between K and C in the bond entirely goes into the orbital of carbon, so that carbon gains the share of electron of potassium and a lone pair, which was originally this bond pair, and the carbon gains the electron of potassium, giving it a negative charge. Now this is called a cyanide ion. Now one speciality with the cyanide ion is that both carbon and nitrogen possess lone pair, and the carbon has a negative charge. So the lone pair of carbon may be given to the alkyl halide molecule for a nucleophilic reaction. During nucleophilic reaction, a pair of electron is going towards the carbon connected to chlorine. Now equally well, nitrogen also can donate its pair of electron. So we can say that there are 2 nucleophilic sites, nucleophilic centers for a cyanide ion. The 2 nucleophilic atoms or a cyanide ion. One is carbon with its lone pair and the other is nitrogen with its lone pair. Now both carbon and nitrogen may get connected to the CH3 carbon of CH3Cl by nucleophilic reaction. Now such ions with two donor sites, two atoms which can donate pair of electron for nucleophilic reaction, such species can be molecule or ion. Such ions are called ambident nucleophiles. Ambident nucleophiles. So cyanide is an ambident nucleophile because there are two centers, two atoms with a pair of electrons which can be donated for a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Now if a free cyanide is present, then carbon donates its electron pair to the carbon atom of alkyl halide because the negative charge is residing over carbon. So carbon is C negative is more nucleophilic than nitrogen with its lone pair. Now in the text it is given that a CC bond is stronger than or more stable than a CN bond, but I think it is wrong because a CC bond energy is only 144 kilocalories per mole, whereas a CN bond energy is 175 kilocalories per mole. So a CN bond is stronger than a CC bond. So a CN bond is more stable than, of course, a CC bond. So here cyanide with a negative carbon is more polarizable by the positive carbon of CH3Cl. CH3Cl possesses carbon with a partial positive charge and chlorine with a partial negative charge. Now this partial positive charge in CH3Cl can distort easily the electron cloud around carbon with its negative charge. A negative atom is more polarizable than a neutral atom, so that we can say a negative atom is more nucleophilic than a neutral atom. So the symbol equation may be written as CH3Cl KCN. You put K and Cl in a box. The valency over carbon in CH3 combines with the valency of cyanide carbon, producing CH3Cl and KCl. Then this molecule is called methyl cyanide, or another name is acetonitrile. So that is the product. So the carbon connects to the carbon of CH3. Then the bonding is through carbon, not through nitrogen. Cyanide is the product with the potassium cyanide. So an alkyl halide generally can react with the potassium cyanide, giving the corresponding cyanide. But if we take another cyanide called silver cyanide, the structure is similar: Ag bond C triple bond N with the nitrogen possessing a lone pair. Now AgCN is mainly covalent. It is not so ionic as potassium cyanide. So it is mostly covalent. It is mainly covalent in character. So it cannot produce enough cyanide ions, so that it will not dissociate in the medium much. Then carbon cannot act as the nucleophilic atom. So the pair of electron of nitrogen is donated to carbon of methyl with the simultaneous removal of Cl or Cl negative and SN2 reaction. Now then, when this pair of electron is donated to carbon, one electron of nitrogen is given to carbon, so it will carry a positive charge. To neutralize the charge, one of the pi bonds will be shifting over nitrogen, in the sense the nitrogen orbital will carry both the electrons in the pi bond, so it gets the share of electron of carbon, so that its positive charge formed by donation of this pair of electron is getting neutralized. So we get CH3 connected to N, double bond C. Then when this pair of electron is moving over nitrogen, or when this pair of electron is moving into the orbital of nitrogen, carbon loses its share of electron, so it gets a positive charge. And to neutralize the positive charge developed over carbon, the bond between Ag and carbon will be shifting into the orbital of carbon, so that carbon gains the share of electron of Ag, so that the created positive charge gets neutralized. So this pair of electrons becomes a lone pair over carbon, and nitrogen is having a lone pair because this pair of electron is shifting into the orbital of nitrogen. So this bond pair becomes a lone pair over nitrogen. Then this is CH3NC or methyl isocyanide. So with potassium cyanide, an alkyl halide can give the corresponding cyanide alkyl cyanide, while with the silver cyanide, the alkyl halide reacts to form the isocyanide. Now similar reaction occur with the potassium nitrite and silver nitrite. So nitrite ion, that is N double bond O negative, it has two donor sites, we say. Oxygen negative can act as the nucleophilic atom, nucleophilic center, or nitrogen with its lone pair can act as the nucleophilic atom. So it is also an ambident nucleophile. Now potassium nitrate is an ionic substance. Here it is shown by a covalent bond. It is wrong. Now to understand the reaction, it is written so. Now when this pair of electron goes entirely into the orbital of oxygen, then a lone pair will be formed over oxygen, and oxygen gets the share of potassium, so that it gets a negative charge, and potassium is left with a positive charge. And we have the nitrite ion here. Now here oxygen atom with a negative charge will be a nucleophilic atom because it is having a negative charge. A negative ion is more polarizable than a neutral atom like nitrogen or oxygen. Here oxygen also possesses two pairs of electrons, but a negative ion, a negative atom will be more polarizable than a neutral atom. So the oxygen with the negative charge will be uniting with the carbon atom of methyl group in methyl chloride, so that the nucleophilic atom is O negative. Then O negative will be connected to carbon of methyl group, and we get CH3ONO, and this is called methyl nitrite. Now the reaction may be represented by CH3Cl plus KONO, potassium nitrite. Here a molecule of KCl is removed. The valency over carbon in methyl group will combine with the valency over oxygen in potassium nitrite, and we get CH3ONO. Now the action of silver nitrite. Silver nitrite is, as usual, a mostly covalent compound, so that there is no ionization, enough ionization as Ag positive and O negative. Then we cannot create O negative here, so that nitrogen acts as the nucleophilic atom. The lone pair of nitrogen is given to the carbon of methyl group with the simultaneous removal of Cl or Cl negative, because it is an SN2 reaction. Then when nitrogen donates this electron pair, one electron of nitrogen is given to this carbon, it gets a positive charge. To neutralize the positive charge, this pair of electrons moves in between oxygen and nitrogen. Then silver gets a positive charge. But when a new bond is formed here and a bond is formed here, the valency of nitrogen becomes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and nitrogen cannot have a valency more than 4, so that this pi bond polarizes over the oxygen atom, shifts over the oxygen atom, or this pi electron pair goes entirely into the orbital of oxygen here, creating a negative oxygen, and the nitrogen atom gaining electron and losing electron. So there is no net change for the charge of nitrogen, so it becomes N positive, and this is called nitromethane because nitrogen is connected directly to the carbon, and this group is called nitro group, and this group is called nitrite group. So nitro group means nitrogen is bonded to carbon, nitrite means oxygen is bonded to carbon. Now the next reaction, that is the reaction with the silver salt of carboxylic acids. We get a family of compounds called esters. So esters are produced when alkyl halides react with the silver salt of carboxylic acid. Now carboxylic acid is having the group COOH, and when this H atom is replaced by a metallic ion, for example Na positive or Ag positive, we get the corresponding salt. If it is Na positive, then we call it sodium acetate here, and if it is silver, we call it silver acetate. It's a salt. Now CS3COOAg, that is silver acetate, reacts with the CS3Cl. Now AgCl is put in a box. Then the valency over oxygen atom combines with the valency over CS3, AgCl is removed, so we get CS3COOCH3, that is CS3COOCH3, and this group COO with the two valencies is the functional group of esters. So we get here this part is acetate, CS3COO part is acetate, and this is methyl group, and hence the ester is named methyl acetate. So methyl acetate is the product, that is an ester. Now lithium aluminum hydride. Is a very powerful reducing agent used in organic chemistry. As the name indicates, it can provide hydride ion, that is H minus. Now it is having a structure like this, aluminum with the 4 valencies. Now the usual valency of aluminum is 3. When it becomes 4, it gains a negative charge, and lithium positive ion neutralizes the negative charge, and the salt is called lithium aluminum hydride. Now with the methyl chloride, a hydride ion is connected to CH3, so that hydride is the nucleophile. Now with the simultaneous removal of Cl of Cl negative, we get LiCl. Then when one H minus is removed from this aluminum hydride part, the electron of share of aluminum is given to hydrogen, so that the negative charge neutralizes here, and we get AlH123 AlH3 and CH3H, that is methyl. So methyl chloride is reduced to methane by lithium aluminum hydride. Now the last reaction is the reaction with the metal alkyls. Metal alkyls. Now metal alkyls are alkyl derivatives of metal in which the alkyl part is the negative ion. And one example is methyl lithium, where the lithium exists as lithium positive ion and the methyl exists as CH3 negative. Now there the alkyl part is the nucleophile or a carbanion, we can say. Carbanion is the nucleophile. So CH3 negative is the nucleophile. So lithium, methyl lithium, this compound is called the carbanion, as acting as nucleophile, attacks the CH3 part. So this carbon is attacked by this methyl carbanion. It will be possessing a pair of electrons. So this lone pair of electron is given to this carbon. Now when lone pair moves towards this carbon, one electron is given to this carbon so that the negative charge neutralizes and we get CH3 bond CH3, and this Cl negative combines with the Li positive giving lithium chloride. Now another set of reactions of alkyl halides is called elimination reaction. Now you have to study the mechanism of elimination reaction. The particular elimination you have to study is called beta elimination. Now consider a carbon structure like this. Suppose there is a hydrogen atom here. Now the carbon to which the functional group is directly bonded is called alpha carbon, and the other carbon is called beta carbon. Now there will be valencies over this carbon. Now for beta elimination, we require a powerful base. An efficient base is needed, and the base usually used is alcoholic KOH. So alcoholic KOH is the reagent used for beta elimination. And alcoholic KOH contain a powerful base called OC2H5 negative or ethoxide. Now a brief method of preparation of alcoholic KOH, that is, you take 2 gram KOH, solid KOH. It is obtained as pellets, as in the form of buttons, pellets in the form of buttons. Now these pellets are dissolved in minimum amount of water. So in a beaker you take 2 gram KOH as pellets and dissolve it in drops of water so that a clear solution is obtained. Then you add about 20 ml 95% alcohol. Now 95% alcohol is called rectified spirit. Then shake well to get a clear solution. And into the solution you add about 2 gram anhydrous magnesium sulfate. See, magnesium sulfate crystalline compound contains 7 molecules of water of crystallization. So MgSO4 7H2O is the formula of crystals of magnesium sulfate. Anhydrous means there is no water of crystallization. So anhydrous magnesium sulfate can absorb water from a medium. So here we have prepared 2 gram KOH in minimum water, and then we add 20 ml 95% alcohol, means there is 5% water and 95% alcohol. Now you have dissolved potassium hydroxide in water. Now the purpose of adding anhydrous magnesium sulfate is to absorb the water in the medium. Now this mixture is kept overnight. So in the mixture we contain a bottom layer consisting of solid anhydrous magnesium sulfate. Now you keep this solution overnight, that means for one night, and on the next day you filter this solution. Now that solution is called alcoholic KOH, and from this solution, by keeping overnight, anhydrous magnesium sulfate absorbs water and gets converted to crystalline magnesium sulfate, that is MgSO4 7H2O, so that when we filter the resulting mixture next day, we get the filtrate and a solid residue, and the solid residue is crystalline magnesium sulfate. And magnesium sulfate anhydrous will absorb all the water from the mixture. Now, what are the reactions occurring in this mixture? Ethyl alcohol C2H5OH can undergo a type of ionization, G2H5O negative and H positive. So when we add 95% ethanol, that is rectified spirit, the ethyl alcohol molecules in that medium will undergo an ionization to produce C2H5O negative and H positive. Now this C2H5O negative is called ethoxide ion. Now since we are adding potassium hydroxide, the medium will contain hydroxide ion. Now hydroxide ion will combine with the H positive produced by the ionization of ethanol to produce water. So the H positive ions from the equilibrium are removed as water, so that more ethanol molecules will ionize to give ethoxide ion. So we can say the medium contains a lesser amount of hydroxide ions because they are neutralized to water, and this water is absorbed by anhydrous magnesium sulfate. So this water is also absorbed by anhydrous magnesium sulfate. We can add an excess amount of magnesium sulfate and anhydrous to remove all the water, so that on the next day when we filter it, the filtrate will contain mainly the ethoxide ion present in ethanol medium. Then there will be potassium ions also. So the ionic system, potassium positive and C2H5O negative are present in the medium, and the medium is ethanol. So in a solvent medium, that is ethanol, we have potassium ions and ethoxide ions. The hydroxide ion concentration will be very small or practically nil. Now ethoxide ion and hydroxide ion can act as bases. Now hydroxide can act as a base, means it can react with H positive, produce water. Ethoxide can act as a base, means it can react with H positive, produce ethanol. Now the ability to react with H positive is called basicity. Now compare the basicities of hydroxide and ethoxide. Now in ethoxide, the methyl group can show a plus I effect, so that the electron density over oxygen atom is increased. So that we can say the oxygen atom in ethoxide is having a higher electron density than the oxygen atom in hydroxide. So the oxygen atom in ethoxide will be having a higher tendency to absorb H positive, so that when we compare the basicities of ethoxide and hydroxide, ethoxide C2H5O negative is more basic than OH negative. So the main quality of a base is to react with the H positive, and ethoxide is a powerful base than hydroxide due to higher electron density over O negative, and that is supplied by the plus I effect of the ethyl group. And so ethoxide is a powerful base than hydroxide, and ethanolic potassium hydroxide, also commonly called alcoholic potassium hydroxide, mainly contain the base ethoxide, and this base starts the beta elimination reaction. Now we can see beta elimination in the next video. Thank you.